I'm back.
Hi. So was that little laugh you had because GoGo Streaming Chan came up earlier?
Yeah. it was a little bit distracting suddenly.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm definitely keeping the best for last for me.
Oh. I mean, my best was Kirby, but I'm also keeping a game for last that I think is pretty special. Yes.
Well, Lenny and I decided we were going to make this video. I had my list of games I knew I played this year and I wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I still have a lot of games left that I have, but I just haven't played. And I quickly knocked out one more game. I was like, you know what? This will be a short experience. And I actually played it 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And you might have heard about it. It's called Florence.
Oh, Florence, yes.
You've heard about it?
I do. I kind of
know what it is?
I've heard about it, and I know, the image of, the girl.
Yeah.
And I know that the soundtrack is made by Kevin Pennican, who also did the soundtrack for Made in Abyss.
What the fuck?
Yes, actually.
Excuse me?
Actually, yes.
Oh, well, that's interesting, because I was definitely gonna say how the music is a big part of the game.
Let me tell you, Kevin Bacon. But anyways, yes, tell me about the game, because I feel like I've definitely heard about it, but I think I'm not really sure what the actual game is.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I even bought this game is because right before Pokemon released, I was scrolling through the eShop on the Switch, through the games that were on sale, and I saw that, just the preview image and the art style of the game.
Yeah, it is something that you're like, oh, it's this.
And that just made me go oh. And I clicked it and was like, I think I bought it for $1 or €1.
Yeah, it's
because
pretty
it was on
small.
sale. It's like, I get it.
Yeah, I think it used to be a phone game as well. So yeah, it's pretty cheap.
That makes sense. It's also on Steam, also on sale, so feel free to get it if my description entices you. But yeah, I bought it and it's just been on my Switch, and I looked up the playtime and it's it's an hour long. I was like, well, I'll just play it real quick. And like I said, the art style, it's just that's a big thing for me. It's just so charming, the art style. The music is very nice, but then you might be wondering, okay, what's the gameplay like? Well, actually, the game is basically about adolescent woman, and her life is kind of a drag. And then she meets someone, and basically you see a snippet of her life and every moment of the blossoming of the relationship, and then what it moves towards.
Yeah.
It is very beautifully represented, accompanied by amazing music, amazing visuals, and the gameplay is usually just some dumb fun or tiny little puzzles, and they all play into the narrative.
Yeah, that's the big thing
beautifully.
Yeah, that's the thing that I heard about this game.
Chef's kiss. It's okay, I'll give you one example, and you'll immediately okay, if the game is full of stuff like that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to remember what it was like. Yes, tell me.
So when you there's a chapter that's just first dates, and the gameplay part of that chapter is you just basically you complete a puzzle of a text balloon. You just fill in the text balloon with puzzle pieces. It's not even text. There's no text. It's just visuals. That's the entire game. Visuals. Yeah. But you complete the text balloon so she can actually talk to her date. And in the first few scenes, there's a lot of pieces, and it's a lot of work to put that text balloon together, because when you first meet someone, it's kind of hard to talk to them. But then the further you get, it's just less and less puzzle pieces, because it becomes easier, and you just feel more comfortable around that person. And it's just the game is
perfect,
filled with metaphorical gameplay pieces like that. It's so well done. And the music, it just fades into different styles. If at some point, there's an argument, and you fill in the puzzle pieces of the conversation. And at one point, it's it's not even a puzzle piece. It's just one big piece you put in there, because when you're angry, you're just you blurt out things without thinking about them.
Yeah.
Or at the start of the argument, the puzzle pieces are there, but they're more rigid, because the conversation is becoming rigid. It's just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that just shows like how much thought they put into the design of the game like that. Yeah.
It's an hour experience. Right now, it's 1 money unit on Steam. I would highly recommend it. It's just a nice little narrative. Very small, but extremely well put together.
Yeah.
I would recommend it highly if you're in that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Lenny, play it.
Yeah, I will.
Just do it. It's fine. It's one money unit.
Yeah, no, I definitely will.
Okay.
And
the art style is what grabbed me, and yes, it stayed consistent and fun throughout the entire game. And then at the end of the game, you also unlock a gallery of concept stuff of like the earlier visual style. And like, okay, I'm glad they changed.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a very nice game, and I enjoyed it very much.
A game on my list that is similar in the sense that it's not too long, also really, really pretty art style and stuff, and that's GRIS, or GRIS, I guess, or GRIS.
Oh, dude, I have that. Oh, maybe don't tell me too much. I also bought that on sale, and it's a little longer. I think I found it's like 4 to 5 hours to finish.
Yeah, about something about that. Yeah,
but I also have it on the Switch, and I really want to play it.
Yeah, it's not too big. It's I played that.
Sell me on the game. Go ahead.
Okay, well, basically, it is an atmospheric 2D platformer, I guess, with really beautiful hand-drawn animation, beautiful backgrounds. It's one of those games where it's like very obviously it deals about a certain topic, and it does so in a very beautiful way. The game starts off monochrome, but then as you progress through the game, more colors get added, but it's in these beautiful watercolor like strokes where everything's like kind of like cloudy, but then like different colors get added, and then every time you get to like the next part of the game or whatever, it's really like the previous color but then combined with the next color to make these really nice color palettes. Yeah, it's just very nice. It's a beautiful the music is very nice as well. Again, it's just like a little thing that I always like it when games do that, is that there's a button to sing. But the thing is that you have lost your voice. So every time you press that button, she like tries to sing and then like gasps and then she stops. And like there's no function for that. But it's just like a reminder of like this is what you're dealing with and what you're working towards. Like, well, I mean, I still think you should play it because I mean you have it, and it is definitely something worth experiencing. I think it was very pretty.
It's high on the list because it's short and I can knock it out in a day.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely something that's like, if you have an evening free, that's like, okay, let's just sit down, get cozy, and then just play it. My only thing is that it's like, so it's a platforming game, and then sometimes there's some slight puzzles. Mm-hmm. Some of the puzzles are pretty nice, actually. Some of the puzzles are pretty cool, but I feel like there's some parts where it's like they could have fleshed the puzzles out a little bit more, where they where they show off a concept, and you're like, oh cool, I wonder how they're gonna twist that in different ways, and then they do that a few times, but then they stop when you're like, I wished they could have gone a little further, for example. But it's relatively small.
But I feel like games like this grab you more because of the visual style and the narrative.
Oh, it's definitely the visual style and just the story, not even necessarily, just like the atmosphere. Because the visuals, like the location, it's all very abstract. There's like ruins and crumbling statues and stuff. But then at some point, you fall down and suddenly you're in a forest, and it's very pretty. But also the way the trees are drawn is very abstract still. Like it's just like playing through a beautiful like watercolor sketch, basically. And that just that whimsical, like weird kind of melancholic atmosphere is very enticing. Like, it's definitely a game that draws you in. So I definitely think it's worth playing.
I mean, I'm definitely going to play it.
Yeah, and it's also not too expensive, I think. It's usually pretty cheap.
I got it extremely cheap because, again, it was like, I scrolled through the sales and it was like, oh, wow, 80% off. Let me get that.
Yeah. So yeah, GRIS, it's very nice. And I also think not to, say too much about the game, of course, you need to experience it. You need to experience it for yourself, but I also think it's a game that, like, I can see that that game can hit extremely hard if you're in a specific like point in your life.
Oh no.
When I played it, I wasn't there. I don't think I'm there yet either, but I will get there at some point, and maybe then I'll replay the game and I'll just destroy myself. Well, now I'm overselling it. I mean, it's a nice game. Play it. You won't regret it.
I feel like it might be about like how you lose your luster in many ways with your age or something. That might be the thing, but I'll see. All right, complete 180.
Oh, my next game is also complete 180.
This year, I played. Okay, this is gonna be 3 games in one.
Yeah.
By the way,
no, just do
I'm
it.
not gonna separately talk about every game in extreme detail.
Yeah, no, just talk about the series, which I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, just."
Oh my god! But I do have opinions about it.
Mm-hmm.
I played the entire Zero Escape trilogy this year, one after the other. I took a little pause after 2 because 2 was very draining after to finish.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, but fine. Okay. So I've been recommended Zero Escape by a very vocal individual in my community who every chance he gets, he's like, please play Zero Escape. And I gave in finally this year and I played it. The first game, basically the easiest example I can give is like kind of like Danganronpa, Phoenix Wright, Ghost Trick. You solve mysteries.
Yeah, is it kind of like visual novel but with escape rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like in Phoenix Wright, you gather evidence to use in your court case. In Zero Escape, you gather things to get out of the room. Yeah, so that's a very good description. Just, escape, like visual novel with escape rooms. The first game, I really enjoyed. I liked the style of like, it was very, very much like Phoenix Wright, where it's like, every character has like their portrait and they talk. I was surprised that every character had voice acting and everything was voiced. It was very nice. The gameplay, the escape rooms, I'm kind of hit or miss on because sometimes you might not click on one little thing in the room and then spend 30 minutes looking for that one thing you forgot to click on just so you can leave the room.
Yeah.
That's kind of a thing about a lot of point and click stuff that I don't like about them. But the visual novel stuff, I really liked. The first game focuses on adorable, cute little romance between 2 characters, but between your character and girl. It's not a secret. It's very in your face from the moment it starts. It's like they're so adorably in love, and they're so dorky about it. It's very cute. I love them to bits. But then you start to like piece together little details, and there's this big overarching mystery. I don't want to get into it too much because I don't want to spoil things. But
You okay?
I'm trying to gather my thoughts so I don't spoil things.
I mean, I guess in a game like this, sometimes it can be difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Since a lot of it hinges on the mystery.
I like the mystery. There's bits and pieces throughout the game that hint towards it. But like, there's a lot of big and shocking reveals in there that I enjoyed very much. And then the ending of the game is like, there's a lot of pressure on you where it's like, oh fuck, I'm in this situation. I need to solve this now. And I just enjoy how many subtle hints there are throughout the game on what's going on. And even replaying the game, you might pick up on things that you didn't realize before. It's like, oh my god, that actually meant something.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever. At certain points in the game, when you're just playing through the game and you're having fun and doing escape rooms, at some points, token girl, like your love interest, suddenly gets like a fever. And she like faints, and it's like, oh, what the fuck is that all about? But then at the end of the game, it's like, oh my god, that is what that meant. That is horrible.
Oh dear. Ooh.
Yeah. So stuff like that is in this game, really cool. And the fact that it focuses just on this romance between these two characters, it's a lot like Alm and Celica, where it's like you want them to like get together and be happy.
Yeah.
It's like you have to get through the game, but like you're constantly blocked by bad endings. It's like, why? How do I get this? But then, there's one It's so hard to dance around spoilers. I'm just not gonna say too much about it.
Yeah.
The idea of the game, or the idea the game plays with, is left mysterious enough where it's like it leaves room for interpretation. And that's very nice.
Yeah.
And then you finish the game and it's just, nice ending. You save the girl. It's all good. The second game is basically a lot more of the first game, but just a lot more of the first game.
Oh dear.
It's also in 3D. I think it was a 3DS game originally. I played it on PC.
I think so, yeah.
I don't like it that, I preferred the 2D portraits over the 3D characters, but fine, whatever. Very strange. Every character is voiced, but your character isn't. And it's very jarring.
Oh.
And there is a reason for it, but I'm like, yeah, okay, but it's kind of obvious, there is going to be something about it because every character is voiced but you. And then you play through the game, it's there's so many paths. And I'm sorry, but it's kind of a slog to finish all of them. The escape rooms became kind of obnoxious at points. Where it's okay, I kind of just want to know what the narrative is at this point. There's still enjoyable character stuff, but I don't know. At some point, it became a drag for me personally. If you didn't feel like that, that's totally fine. The problem I have with the second game is the game thinks it is so smart, and it tries to over-explain every little details. The 10th time a character says, "Allow me to explain." I'm like, please shut up. I don't care anymore. It's at the end of the game, it's they really try to explain, this is why we're doing this, and this is how it works, and there's this flow chart that appears, and this is, and then arrows, and this is why that happened, and then this is why this will happen. It's oh my god, I don't care, shut up. The one part of the game that I really liked is, again, one ending that focused on a cute moment between two characters that was just kind of cute romance that then gets even more meaning if you play the third game. So that's the thing for me.
Oh.
You don't need to focus on, oh, this is big, oh my god, we're so smart. Oh, this thing we're focusing on is so intricate and it's so deep, dude. We're so smart. No, I like it when things are small and they focus on people.
Mm-hmm. We're very similar in that regard. Yeah.
So that's definitely a me thing. I realize this. I feel like I might be a person that doesn't like movies like Inscryption because oh, it's so smart and complicated. But no, I like smaller things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. If people are no, dude, it's so deep and I love it, that's fine. If you got more out of this game than me, awesome. It just it got a little too far up its own ass for me, in my opinion. And there's a lot of repeat stuff if you do all the routes. And I feel like you need to do all the routes because to get the final ending, you need to get all the endings.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of forced to sit through the same thing over and over and over again. Allow me to explain how smart we are. It's yeah, that was a bit of a drag for me. But then surprisingly, the third game, it doesn't do that, where it over explains things, but it does get extremely dumb. But in a way where I kind of like it. It gets so over the top dumb that I'm okay, you got me again. There's extremely bloody scenes of just characters overreacting, characters not acting like they would or should, and oh my god, this is so funny.
Okay,
it's not
so
the
it
intent.
seems like it's enjoyable but for the wrong reasons.
There's a couple of parts that I enjoy for the right reasons. And there's a couple of things where you're oh wow, that's actually a cool little detail they hid. They could pick up on, but it wasn't shoved in your face. And replay value. So it's weird. The narrative is pretty dumb in the third game, but there's actually a lot of neat little secrets that hint towards stuff that warrants a replay. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed the third game. It was very fun. Also, it's very over the top, and I liked it. I mean, you do need to play the second game to enjoy the third game. But if I were to say, oh, you need to play the Zero Escape, I think, play the first one. You don't necessarily have to play the rest of the games, but if you feel like it, you can, I guess. If that's kind of your cup of tea. If you like extremely overcomplicated things that then are also extremely over-explained, maybe you'll enjoy it way more than I did. I don't want to undersell this game because there's a lot of fun character stuff and a lot of fun scenes. But to me, like I'm going to check how many hours I played it. Hold up. Okay, for me, the 40 hours of it I played, I think about maybe 8 of those were very enjoyable.
Ooh.
The rest was just like, you know, I mean, I'm not saying the escape rooms are boring, but just a lot of the stuff is just repeating the same thing over and over and over again because you're replaying the same game, but another choice, right? And yeah. I understand the choices play into it. It has a deeper meaning. I get it. I can't talk about it here. I'm sorry. But for me, I really liked the first game. Second game was kind of a drag. Third game was enjoyable because it got really dumb and funny. So I would really recommend the first game, and that's about it. Yeah. I'm not going to give extremely in-depth thoughts because I can't talk about the overarching narrative without spoiling anything, but at least they were interesting, but a little bit too overcomplicated. That's about it.
I'm very curious for the people watching this who have played these games that will actually know all the things you're talking about. They're like, yeah, well, but that thing and that thing, and I'm just saying like, what?
Yeah, it's so fun because like at one point in the third game, I'm telling you, the third game there's actually a lot of cool detail stuff in there. Like at one point, you're just in the third game, you're just assuming a thing for the entire game, even though the game never tells you it's actually a thing. You're just assuming it because the game doesn't outright say it, but it's like dancing around saying it. But then the fact is, oh, that thing was not the thing. The game was just very, very good at hiding it. But it never said it was the thing. But you just assume it's the thing. And I love that when a game can do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
This might sound so dumb for people who haven't played it.
Oh no, it's really funny to hear you talk about this stuff, not knowing what you're talking about. But it's also funny knowing that some people would be like, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that's my piece. My very confusing piece on the Zero Escape trilogy. I would still recommend it, at least the first game.
My next one, also very different. How about some Mario plus Rabbids?
Oh, great.
Sparks of Hope.
I'm very curious about that.
It is really fucking fun.
Wait, hold up. Spoilers! Was Rosalina the final boss?
No, kind of. I actually haven't finished the game.
Lenny, you son of a bitch.
Again, this is like Life Alive. This is another game that's like, I fucking love this game. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm gonna finish it next year.
Okay, fine. Talk about it.
It's just straight up better than the first one in pretty much every way. I really like it because, like, one of the big things, for example, the overworld in the first one was just basically kind of like glorified hallways until you get to a gameplay segment. But in this game, it's more like they handle it more like an RPG, so you can actually have an overworld to run around in with like NPCs you can talk to. There's side quests to do. I also like that this game is very different in the sense that the first one is really just like, oh, it's Mario and it's Rabbids, whoa! And then in this game, it's more like they stopped treating it as a, oh my god, it's a crossover game. It's just like, no, it's just a game with like unique story and unique characters and stuff. And like the Rabbids don't really act like Rabbids anymore. They're just like characters, but they just happen to be a rabbit. And it's very cool. It takes itself much more seriously. The plot is very like, yes, we need to save the world, like the galaxy from destruction. And the music is like these grand, sweeping orchestral score that's like, oh my god, this sounds way too serious and intense for a game with like Mario and Rabbids. Wee wahoo.
To me, it's so weird how the Rabbids, when people talk about the Rabbids, like, oh, they ruined Rayman. But then they invaded the Mario series and suddenly became good?
Yes. Legitimately. So they legitimately became good. I love the Rabbids in this game. Rabbid Peach, like, taking selfies and be like, healing vibes. And then Rabbid Mario being literally like, hey, mamma mia! And then when you get, like, you know, the collectibles you need, there's, like, every character has, like, their unique cutscene. Like, oh, you got the thing. And then Rabbid Mario's is one, like, he tries to grab it, but it falls next to him. And then it literally does, like, you know, with the hand gesture, like, the, hey! to the thing, to like the object, like like he's fucking amazing. Because that's also weird that they have like voice lines. They're actually like voice acted. Although that's one thing that's also very weird. Basically, your companions are a Beepo, which is like basically a little Roomba. That's like a little robot. And then another little robot that's like the AI of the spaceship. They are 100% completely voice acted. Every single line of dialogue is voice acted, but none of the other characters. The other characters have like, oh, hello there. There's like a generic line for them, and then the actual text appears. And it's so weird. Why did they fully voice act these specific two characters, but then no one else? I don't know why they did that. It's kind of jarring. But
oh, it doesn't have narrative purpose?
I haven't found out yet. No,
okay.
It's not like, wait, why are we the only ones talking? And then surprise, it's the reveal. No,
Mario was the villain.
Dun dun dun. I think it's interesting how they changed it up from the last game. One of the big things they changed is now there's also experience after you fight. You gain experience and you level up. You can use that in a skill tree to give yourself more skills. And one of the things that's in this game that it kind of reminds me of what you talked about with Triangle Strategy, in the sense that like in the first game, everyone has two different weapons, but there's a lot of overlap. Like these characters have like a regular gun, and then these characters have like more like a shotgun thing. But the thing is, every single character in this game is much more focused on doing a specific thing. So everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, yeah.
Mario is dual wielding two guns, which means he can shoot one enemy, and then if he wants, shoot another enemy. But for example, in a skill tree, there's a skill where, for example, if you shoot one enemy and that shot kills that enemy, then the second shot you do on someone else will deal like extra damage, for example. And then the thing in this game is the sparks. Those are like the little Rabbid Luma things that are very weird looking. And they're just a special thing that you can help to buff yourself, or they can add like an element. So, oh, now with this Luma, like you activate it, now you do fire damage. So basically there's a lot of ways to customize your characters and do specific things. And one of the fun things in this game is that it's really fun to figure out a strategy that really works and is really powerful.
Yeah, you're the type of person who does that and then only that.
Yeah, so for example...
You're so boring, Lenny.
Yeah, so my thing, for example, is, okay, so I have Rabbid Mario. His strength is that, he's just very powerful. He just has like two big like punching gloves that he uses to fight. I use someone else who has like a spark to buff everyone's attack power. Then Rabbid Mario has like a lot of movement ability, because basically you have a radius around your character and you could just freely run around within that radius and do whatever you want. Well, then he can get in range of a lot of enemies, then use a spark that basically draws enemies towards you. So basically all of the enemies are around you, and then you just do your punch attack, which is like short range, but it is like a kind of radius in front of you. So then you can kill like 30 enemies. If you want, you can kill like 30 enemies with one attack. And then Rabbid Mario starts yelling, MVP! MVP! And it's fucking awesome. It's the best. It's very, also again, like difficulty-wise, there's been a few battles that I had some trouble with, where it's like, oh shit, I didn't know this was gonna happen. Fuck, now someone is dead. I wasn't expecting this.
Oh, and then you panic.
Yeah, and then I start panicking and things take longer.
Yeah.
Because that's also the thing. I still overthink things when I think this is a game you could play relatively quickly.
Yeah, I enjoy playing my games where I do things I know will work in the moment, and then I see, oh god, I got attacked or whatever, or things look back there, and then I course correct and adapt my strategy to the mistakes I make. I like that style of playing way more than just sitting there for 20 minutes and like, okay, what is the absolute best thing I can do?
Yeah.
You're a weird specimen, Lenny.
I know.
Surprised me to like a game like this.
Yeah, I know. It definitely seems like it wouldn't be a thing. Like, because, I'm not really a strategy kind of guy. But it's just, like, it's very easy to feel overpowered in this game.
Yeah. Because
you can just find strategies that just work instantly. And you're like, oh yeah, good. So, in that sense, it's not too hard. And also, like, I mean, of course I haven't beaten the game, so maybe at the end it does get a lot harder. But even then, this game, like, props, is super customizable, like, difficulty-wise. You can change the difficulty whenever you want. Easy, normal, hard, very hard. And you can, like, every single battle, you can be like, oh, I'll change it right now. Like, you can do it whenever you want.
There's so much overlap between this game and Triangle Strategy, because yes, in Triangle Strategy you can do that as well. Just anytime if you're like, okay, I just want to get through this battle and I don't care anymore, you can just put it to very easy. And then, okay, I want to challenge again, let's put it on hard again.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you just want the narrative, just play the game very easy. Who cares?
Yeah, you can do that in this game too. Although I do think, like, I mean, there is a narrative, but it's definitely the gameplay that's the star of the show.
The narrative is surprise. Rosalina is Space Witch.
What? No, what are you talking about? What? It's very obvious. They don't try to hide it at all.
You told me before it wasn't the case. I'm just more confused.
The boss fights are also pretty cool. Music is incredible and way too, like, it sounds way too elaborate. Like there is music that sounds like it could be a final boss fight, and it's like, this is the tutorial battle.
You told me that before.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna need to send me music to put over the...
Oh, I'll send you some music. Yeah. So yeah, it's just... and again, the music, it's like Grant Kirkhope, who did the first game. It's like, yeah, that was a good soundtrack. Cool. Okay, how do we make it better? Okay, how about we add Gareth Coker, who does the Ori games, which is like, oh, beautiful music. And then, let's add Yoko Shimomura as well, who isn't even trying to like sound kind of like Mario, like it's just like Final Fantasy 15 music.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so grandiose, and I love it. It really makes the game feel like, again, Mario and Rabbids, it sounds like it's a complete joke, but it's not.
It does. That's the thing. When the first game was announced, I was like, what the fuck? Why? This will be bad. And you were like, no, it's good. And the internet was like, yeah, it's good. And then the second game released was like, yeah, it's also really good. It's actually better. It's like, okay, Rabbids game good.
Yeah. It's like, again,
as an outsider, I'm still a little confused about it, but okay.
Yeah, because what is because the team is passionate and...
Yeah, you know what? Yes. Nice final point, Lenny. Hell yeah. Internet high five.
Yeah. When they announced the game, at the first game at E3, he was in the crowd. He was crying because this was like his dream, and he fucking did it, and it's amazing. And I was just... He made another game. It's really good. Like, I never expected this to... Like, I know, like, is this a series now? And it's like... a super good series, maybe?
I think they were like, okay, the first game did very well. Let's just make a sequel.
Highly recommended. Like, if you think Rabbids, what? No, play it. It's very good. But yeah, that's all I had to say about Mario plus Rabbids. Very good. Highly recommended.
Hey, Lenny.
Yes?
Can I go eat dinner first?
Oh. Yeah, maybe I should do that as well.
I'm very hungry. I'm very excited to actually talk about this one.
Well, we've talked about it already, but not like in this context.
We haven't talked about it.
Yes, everyone. Fat Guy has played A Hat in Time.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a story attached, I feel like. Because, of course, I heard about this game when it released. Because, like, literally everybody on the planet played it. And for, like, this little period, it was kind of oversaturated on YouTube. And I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why is this so popular? And I know I'm a little bitch about stuff like that. And that turns me off.
Yeah, I know.
From a game. But then... I mean, and I hear people talk about like how great it is, like finally a classic platformer, and it's so good,
a proper.
And I'm like, okay,
platformer.
What? Yeah, you're clearly over exaggerating. Is my idea when I hear stuff like that, because it's at the end of the day, like it's just a platformer, and I just lumped it together with people who really liked Banjo-Kazooie, and we're like, yeah, finally we're back to the classic great 3D platformer. So I never played it, and then I think like. Last year or something, it got brought up again in conversation between me and Lenny. And I was like, well, you know what? It's actually really, really good and fun. And then I heard a music track that I didn't know in like a video. It was like one of those long 3-hour videos about a video game. And a track from this game was used as the background music. And I was like, huh, that's really good music. I wonder what that music is. So I checked the description. I'm like, A Hat in Time? That's pretty good music.
Which music was it?
It was Oh It's You.
Oh yeah, yep.
And I really like that track. And I was like, well, maybe I'll check it out. I have time. So I bought it and I played it. And at the start of the game, like the game starts I'm like, okay, I see. Like, oh, you got this cute character. It's like this little girl, and she's a little bit sassy and silly, but she's a kid. And I played the first level, and I think you agree with this. The game starts pretty underwhelming.
Like, it starts off solid and like, oh yeah, this is fun to control and stuff, but there's nothing like, so far it's like, oh yeah, this is good, but there's nothing that warrants being like, wow. It's just like, yeah, it's good. It's pretty basic, like a basic, yeah.
The first level and the first few missions in the first level, I'm like, okay, I guess I see what this is. It's just like, yep, solid platform. It's kind of what I assumed it would be. But I mean, I'm playing anyway. I'll continue playing. And then you get to the second world.
Oh,
hold up. Dark sent me something. That's funny.
What?
Awesome. Dark says it's appreciated. Okay. For people who aren't in the know, I sent him my old microphone.
Oh.
And just yesterday, I said, like, so did it actually arrive? It was like, huh, no, it didn't. I was like, well, maybe because of holiday period, it's stuck in customs. And then today, a day later, boom, it's there.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of funny. It's funny because he gave me his address, but not his name. So on the package, it's addressed to Mario Dark.
Actually.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Anyway, ahead in time. So I played the first few missions. The type of person I am is like, I play Mario platformers like this as well, where I'm like, this first world, I finish every level in that world. Like, let's say I play 64, I'll finish Ball on Battlefield before going to Womp Fortress, right? I'm that type of person. So I play a lot of the first world, which is Mafia Town. It's fine. There's a couple of cute interactions, but nothing mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, oh, okay, let's move on to the next world. And it's incredibly crazy how much the second world improves on the first world.
Yeah, that's the thing. The first world is like
showcases everything you need to know about this game.
Yeah, like the first world is like, yeah, it's basic, and then you get the second world, and suddenly it's like, okay, wait, who are these crazy characters that are so fun and likable? Why is there suddenly like a progress bar and stuff? Why is there suddenly murder on my own express? And like fucking DJ Grooves, and like that's the moment where you're like, oh, this is the game. Where I think the way you describe the game to me is like the perfect description, I think.
Yeah, go ahead and fill them in.
Yeah, it's like basically like a Mario type 3D platformer with all of the humor and just lovable charm of a Paper Mario game, which I think
that's how I described it.
That's because that's the thing. It's like a solid, just like on its own. Like it is a very solid 3D platformer. It's fun to control. The levels are well designed. All of that good stuff. But then they just dump like buckets, like container ships full of like charm.
Yep.
All over it.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because, again, the first world, every aspect that's in the first world of like, oh, there's a couple of characters and some music, and it's like, it's all fine. But then the second chapter, there's amazing characters, super fun interactions, dumb one-off jokes. Okay, World 1 had one of those where it's like, you get the friendship meter. And you're like, wait, is this actually a thing? But then it turns out, no, it's this one-off gag they made an entire asset for.
That's the kind of stuff that just, this game is full of stuff like that, where it's just like putting legitimate effort into just one-off gags.
Yep. You break into a film studio and you're supposed to sneak around so the cameras don't catch you, but you start to build up like a receipt of like,
forgot about the receipts.
What's it called? It's like,
well, just all of the damages that you do.
All the damage you're doing, and like this. Yeah, this fine that starts building up, like, oh, you did this, so that many gems, did this, that many gems, and then at one point you can continue without knocking over like an obstacle, which is a cactus. So you knock it out of the way, and then it adds assault on a cactus. And it's like it's a huge amount of gems.
Yeah, and then
it's
and then at the end of that level, it's like, okay, you need a bird ID card, and then oh wait, you need a picture, and then it actually lets you draw like a picture of what you want, like, and it does nothing. I'm not even sure. Well, no, you can look at the picture then because it's on your save file. But
it appears on your file selection.
Yeah, in your save file. But like, still, it's like they didn't need to add in a minigame where you can actually draw like silly things on your face, but like they just did it because sure, it would be funny. It's so fun.
Yeah, and then again, the second world, then that splits open into basically you're making 2 movies for 2 competing movie for the Golden Owl or something, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Award 42.
What?
Award 42.
Award 42 for the 42nd Bird Studios Award. That one exactly. Okay, so you got one side which is like a western side for the conductor, and his first level is like you get to his level and it's like, oh, it's on this train. Okay, then you get into the train and it like turns into this murder mystery with these weird ass crows running around who are trying to steal your sensitive information. All these, like, that really, it's like, it's such a Paper Mario thing. It is absolutely amazing and hilarious.
Yeah, we're just like,
and once I played that, I was like, okay, this game is awesome. I need to continue.
Yeah, we're just asked you like, oh, hey, what is something you're very insecure about? Then you fill it in, and then later in the level, there's like, oh, and she's, oh, and the girl, she has, and then everyone starts laughing.
Did you see her huge?
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And after that is just like, then you get to Subcon Forest, and then you have fucking
the Snatcher, which is we'll call him a villain, whom I can only describe as casually evil.
So casual about it.
And there's like a bunch of the fucking music in this game. It is. There's so many genres. It's also so Paper Mario. It's like these different genres, and they're all done so well. I cannot describe how good this game is. And I can't believe I heard about this, and people were saying, "Wow, it's amazing."
And you were like,
can't believe how amazing this is. Check it out. And I'm like, no, not if you're gonna be that positive about it. As I cross my arms and pouty face.
And now you're one of us.
Yes, it's fucking incredible, and the main theme is just, it's so fun. It's remixed throughout all the game. Picture Perfect, that's the track name, is probably like one of the most feel-good tracks in a video game.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just fun, and you're running around, and like another thing, you're this dorky little girl, and you need to get popular and need to like get exposure so you can become this famous movie star, and you meet these groups of penguins who need to become your fans. You just run into them, and your girl just goes, "Oh, hi."
Yeah. Oh, hi.
She's so
hi
dumb
there.
and dorky.
And like waves like.
Yeah. But like she's also super sassy and actually gives 0 fucks, has 0 sense of self-preservation.
Hat Kid is special.
Very special. It's like, dude, her interactions with the Snatcher, and then at the end where he beats her, it's like, okay, this final contract, and it's just she scribbles out the contract, is like, become my best friend forever, smiley face.
Yeah.
It's just, Hat Kid is a gem. The platforming is good to great. The music is absolutely amazing. The bosses are fun. Boss music is amazing. Post-game content, while it was not completely my cup of tea, because I'm not the type of person who's like, wow, I wonder if I can beat this game jumpless. But the fact that they lean into that for like people who are interested in stuff like
You're
that.
talking about like the Death Wish stuff?
The Death Wishes, yeah. It's like for people who really like that, super fun. That's actually a part of the game you can play. So, yeah, just stuff like, I guess that's not post-game because it's DLC.
Yeah.
I think Death Wish was DLC, but
yeah, Death Wish was DLC along with the 2 extra chapters that they added.
Yeah, the ship and the Yakuza Metro.
And Yakuza Metro, yeah.
That was probably like the fucking. I was gonna say the best DLC ever, but I don't know. It's just really great DLC. Yakuza Metro is really fun.
Yakuza Metro is the best chapter in the game, in my opinion.
I don't know. Chapter 2 is a big contender.
Chapter 2 is also very good, of course. Yeah, I know. It was just very fun to explore Yakuza Metro. Yeah, because I also like how every chapter also was, again, a completely different thing. So I mean, you're still 3D platforming, but the structure is very different, so it's always something different. Like the first level is very much like kind of like a very big Super Mario 64 level where you have one level and you can do a lot of different stuff in there. Yeah. Then the second one is just like level based, where you do this level, you do that level. Then the forest is again a lot more open, and there's like missions you can do within it. And then I feel the chapter 4 is kind of like Super Mario Galaxy, where you're in this place and then you just shoot off to, I'm gonna do this path.
The zip lines definitely feel like launch stars.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like every chapter, like it's a 3D platformer, but every chapter plays like a different kind of 3D platformer.
Again, that's what I mean. They got their inspiration from like so many different places that they created this entirely new thing.
Yeah, and I mean, and like there's the time rifts that are, and like the rifts that are obviously like Super Mario Sunshine inspired.
Yeah, another thing about those rifts, the music in the collapsing rifts, that's so Wario Land 4.
Yeah, just get faster and faster. The ticking. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's very clear, but it's also good because, you know, you can definitely see that, oh, this is inspired by this or that. But it's, and at the same time, it's so uniquely ahead in time.
Yeah.
It really is.
It all stands on its own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like the one thing that also like kind of turned me off, the visual style. I'm like, this kind of looks rather cheap. I'm going to be a bitch about this. And it does. That's one thing you could point at. Is like, yeah, the game looks, it could look better.
I mean, I wouldn't say it looks cheap, but it does look like
GameCube.
Yeah, and more like it's just like a general like art style. It's not like a super unique art style or whatever. It's just like
stylized.
Yep. It's just like 3D platformer game.
Yep. But no, the game is absolutely wonderful and a gem. And this, I would say, this is my second favorite game I played this year. So I feel like that's saying a lot. I can gush about it for a long time, but yeah, if you still haven't played it, I would really recommend it. As a person who is not into platformers, honestly, or anymore, not into platformers anymore. Like I said, I kind of didn't like Odyssey, mainly because I was getting sick of just the standard Mario platformer. Oh, apparently the way to fix that is give your platformer actual like character, and then boom, it's fun. It's fixed for me. Like, yes, I think Ahead in Time is 100% better than Odyssey. Don't at me. Eat my penis. I don't give a shit.
No, I've seen other people say that as well. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just, you're definitely not alone in that opinion.
Like, Odyssey is so boring compared to this. It's like fucking this game is just so much charm and like character, and it's fucking amazing. Even the soundtrack is just better. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. That's just how I feel. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I can definitely keep gushing, but I guess one strange complaint is that I feel like the final boss music is a bit too intense for what it's actually about.
I don't know.
When I hear that music, I'm thinking like, wow, just some epic world-ending shit. If we do not finish this baddie, everything we know is going to end. But like, it's kind of this silly little fight between two girls. So I don't know. That's a very me complaint. The final boss music is too good.
Yeah, it's too good.
Yeah, I don't know. But aside from that, no, I think everything about this game pretty much is amazing. If you still haven't played it, play it.
Very good.
Those were my short thoughts on Ahead in Time.
All right, then next up for me is, I mean, thanks for mentioning it, because I actually forgot to put it on this list. Hey, guess what? Inscryption's really fucking good. Because for some reason, I assumed that you would mention it, but it was like, no, wait, he played it last year, so you wouldn't mention it.
Yeah, of course. That's why I said at the beginning.
But yeah, obviously I played Inscryption, and it was
quite
really
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and it was really fucking good. Holy shit. Like,
yeah,
really,
I feel like we pretty much gave our piece in the final video of the series.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's also the thing. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna talk a lot about it, but it's just like, yeah, it's just very good, very addictive to play, very fun to find like cool synergies and stuff. The plot is really interesting. It throws so many curveballs with you, where you're playing this game. Okay, now you're actually playing a different game. No, now you're playing another different game. Like, and all of those work very well.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, there's a lot of different things in this game, but they all work well, which is very impressive. And yeah, just, I mean, the visuals are so unique and cool. The vibe is...
Oh, yeah. That's definitely what drew me in at first. It's just like...
definitely.
You know, the atmosphere of the Death Card cabin.
Yeah.
You just open the game and you're at the stable, and suddenly like eyes appear. It's like, okay, let's play a game. Or like, that sounds exactly what she says. Like, it's just, it immediately grabs, just like, okay, you play cards and you sacrifice them for blood, and then you can play more expensive cards. And like, it immediately, especially because I like the strategy and like, card games and stuff. And people are going to recommend more card games. I know they will. Feel free.
Slay the
I can't get to every single game in the world. My list is endless. Like, yeah, it's just everything just immediately grabs and it's like, oh, sigils come into play. Oh, and then you can combine sigils and wow, synergy and just everything. It's just this neat little package. You've got amazing gameplay and then this kind of like interesting story attached to it with like twists and turns and what the fuck is even going on. Suddenly I'm playing a Game Boy game and now I'm playing against robot. What is happening? Also, Luke Carter is a thing. He's okay. In our opinion, the game would have been the same with Adam.
Yeah.
From, I mean, for the reasons we enjoyed the game, for the in-universe story, we liked a lot. But then, like, the ARG stuff was a little take it or leave it for us. I don't know. Just for me, definitely because the mod released, Casey's mod, where it's just an infinite version of the Death Card Cabin, which is just, I mean, right up my alley. I played that for such a long time. When it was being developed, it was incredible fun. And then I streamed it a little bit after Lenny was done with his very slow playthrough, which I think turned out surprisingly well, despite the fact that Lenny took 10 minutes to do one turn at
I know, you don't need to keep mentioning it.
I know, but hey, I edit around it and it's super fun. And the face cam just added to that.
It is true. You really made something. I think you really made something very special with this playthrough.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like
feel free.
Very, very good. Just very good game. Like the number one thing is that's impressive is that, like you said, there's so many different things. Like there's so many different sigils, and then you can combine the sigils. Wait, what? How does that even work? And the fact that there is pretty much nothing that stops you from doing something that you want. It's like, you want to combine those sigils? Yeah, do it. Does it work? Yeah, it does. Yeah,
that's basically the thing. 90% of the time, if you're wondering whether something works, it will work, and it's amazing. It's such like, I don't know if liberating experience is the right word, but just do whatever. It'll probably work out, and it's so fun. It's like, I love games that just let you do things and experiment and just combine things and see how like different things synergize. This game does that wonderfully and I love it. Also, the characters are very nice. I love how the game starts as like, first Leshy is this ominous presence who you're kind of afraid of because he's very morbid and weird, and then at the end of the game when he goes away, you're like actually like really sad about it. Like,
yeah, it's like
at the point where Lenny was playing, I actually had to like keep myself from crying.
Yeah, like
it's so silly.
Like at first you're like, yeah, just like, oh god, get me out of here, this psychopath wants to kill me or something, and we're playing the card game, what? But then even like while you're still in the like, you know, the first part, I guess, and you're like even then after a while you start to think like, no, he's just a weird old man who just really wants to play cards.
He really wants to play the game.
Yeah, and then by the end, it's like, I don't want to stop playing. I don't want to go.
Yeah. It really, I don't know. It just really touching because at the end of the day, he was just a friend you play the fun card game with, and he's like, good game, you did well, and it's just a very nice feeling. And that is Inscryption. Play it.
Yep, please play it. It's very good. I'm still planning on getting the game for myself and getting Casey's mod at some point.
Actually?
Yes.
Cool. Good.
Because guess what? I love this game. It was very good.
Yeah, and I showed you a lot of stuff, so I feel like you might try different things.
Oh, definitely. Now I'm more aware of like, oh wait, combining these sigils can do this thing. Ooh. Trust me, now when I see a beehive, I'm like, oh.
Beehive. It's so versatile. I love it. Infinite bees, dude. Infinite bee bones. Why haven't we made highlights of that stream yet? Maybe I should just do that. It kind of was a fun stream.
It was a fun stream.
Yeah, I feel like I've just forgotten about stream highlights ever since the usual style kind of went away. No, I don't know. Maybe something for the future. Yeah. So if you want a more in-depth thought video, first of all, watch the series and then watch our thoughts at the end. It's like, I want to say 30 minutes of us talking about the game. and everything surrounding it. So yeah, and the streams, watch those too. And I mean, if you're at it, watch like the 2,000 videos on my channel. You have the time, right?
Yeah.
If you're here, do that. All right. Thank you. Thanks for watching. It's not done. I still got stuff to talk about. I don't really know how to truly express how much this game has meant to me. And I don't think I can do it justice in us just talking about it here and now.
Mm-hmm.
I've said before here and there that I'm planning on making a thorough video about this, about literally every little aspect of the game and what every little moment, every piece of dialogue, every track, every interaction of this game means to me, has meant to me, and legitimately changed me as a person for the better.
Mm-hmm.
This might sound as an over-exaggeration. That is not the case. It's incredible how much this game has done for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I want to get into that much here because, again, it's just us talking about the games we've played. But every once in a while, I get rough patches in life, and I used to really just resent that part of me, and I was like, I wish I could rewire my brain and just get rid of that.
Yeah.
And this game has kind of shown me that is a complete wrong way to go about that. You need to accept that part of you and try to
understand it.
Yes.
And talk
exactly.
to them.
And talk to them.
Be like, hey,
that is the most silly.
What's up? What you doing?
Yeah. The most silly way to look at it. But honestly, it is a thing I do from time to time at this point, where whenever I feel some kind of anxiety or anything coming up, I'm like, okay, hold up. I move to my couch, I sit down, and I just talk to myself. Okay, what is this? Where is this coming from? I don't always get the answer, but it does help. And having a positive mindset towards that part of you instead of resenting it is already a great help to moving to a more positive view. I'm sorry this is turning into something relatively heavy, not that heavy, but it's just something that is very, very important to me. And Celeste, I don't think I've ever played a game that so beautifully and metaphorically represents how a toxic self-image and a toxic stance towards yourself can ruin you from experiencing life to the fullest and enjoying things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is pretty much all I need to say about it here. Even if you don't need that kind of thing in your life right now, or you don't need a game to tell you how to view yourself, at the end of the day, it's still just a great platformer. Even if the story doesn't mesh with you, the game is still really good. The game is actually kind of amazing without the story.
I mean, it's like, hey, do you like platforming? Do you like platforming with like the most responsive and solid controls?
Yeah.
Like ever? Like, yeah, it's good.
Really good. Even as a guy, again, who doesn't like platformers, that part of the game was also very fun. And again, it's weird when like it's kind of the same story as A Hat in Time, where I heard of this game here and there, and it's like, oh yeah, this platformer. But I mean, I never heard about, the aspect that I talked about at the start of this, of the video game, the story. And the way I viewed it, and I saw glimpses of it, was like, yeah, it looks like a platformer. I can see why people like it, but it will probably not be my cup of tea. I don't like hard platformers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. But then you came in and you said like, yeah, I think the story is actually really good. And also like a big reason to play the game.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, really? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was funny because I was like, wait, you don't know? And because you had no idea what Celeste actually, like other than, oh yeah, platforming. You actually didn't know what Celeste was, really.
No. And I'm like, okay, I'll add it to the list. And then in the beginning of this year, I started playing it. And yeah, it was just at the right time. Let's say it like that. At the exact moment I needed the game, I play the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually crazy. The day after I self-loathed myself into an anxiety-induced migraine, I finished the game. So, yeah, that was kind of the perfect time. And maybe also because of that, I remember it as just, the experience of a lifetime.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, it just represents so much to me, and it has become my favorite game of all time just because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I can just watch footage of this game, listen to music of this game. Usually when I'm alone, if you give me a sec, I can probably induce it, and just in a couple seconds tear up just remembering things and like, oh god, what the things mean to me. It's just absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's crazy that I never knew that the story was so good in this game.
Yeah.
Because I saw snippets of this game, and I knew, in chapter 2, when you have the Badland chase, I saw that, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of funny. You get chased by a phantom you.
Yeah, that's cool.
And now it's like, oh,
okay. That's what that is.
I see. So you're running from yourself, eh? That is very interesting. But it's just like, I'm telling you, just every little thing in this game is like represents something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so masterfully done, accompanied by a great soundtrack.
Yeah, this is like one of those rare games where every single aspect of the game is
Gorgeous.
basically one whole. Like the thing is, I feel like it's one of those rare cases where, it's a very different kind of game, but I think something like Ghost Trick does it well, where it's like, you can't have, I feel like it's very hard to have this story with a different kind of gameplay. It's like the gameplay and the story are so interlinked, and like gameplay mechanics are all tied to the themes and of the story. Like every single part of the game is like can't exist without another part of the game. Like it is
it's
one
like a
perfect like machine where all the cogs fit into place, and every single thing in the game works together with all of the other aspects of the game to make one whole. And when I played it, obviously I thought it was really good, but I personally, I don't think it's nowhere near my favorite games of all time list or whatever, because I'm not in the same place,
Yeah.
So when I played it, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. I don't see why so many people said it's like one of the best games ever made though, but now I do, because
yeah.
if you need to hear that at that time, then it hits you like a fucking brick, and I can completely understand how it's like literally like a life-changing game.
It's just single spoken lines in this game that are just so incredibly recognizable and relatable. It's like, how did they nail it so hard? It's almost mind-blowing. But that's just the thing. Not everybody can relate, and that is why stories and narrative are so subjective. You might not get the same experience from a piece of media that another person will, and they will be like, yeah, it's good, but it's not that good. You're like, no, to me that is the absolute most amazing thing I have ever seen. And at the end of the day, the message is just like, it's okay to fail. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid to learn. And that is one of the first things that actually made me perk up in the game. It was like, in the first 2 levels, I was getting self-conscious, like, I'm dying so much. And the game keeps up your death counter. And I was like, oh, that is annoying. It just reminds me of how many times I died.
Yep.
God damn it. And then, I think it's when you start the 3rd level or the 4th, you get a postcard. Like, you get a postcard before every level. It's just like a little gameplay hint. But then you get a postcard saying basically like, hey, don't worry about your death count. The higher it is, the more you're learning. And that's like,
yeah, because
that's actually really true. So, and then I started not caring anymore about my death counter.
Yeah, and if you look at the number, you just look at it and go like, nice, I did it.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to climb that mountain.
Yeah, it's like, the thing is, failure kind of does not exist. Failure is learning. So, don't worry about it. All right, I think I'm done.
I mean, I know there's a lot to say, but I think you'll say it best in your video.
I don't know when that'll be a thing. I've told you, I wrote thoughts, like disjointed thoughts down whenever they come up. I'm gonna check that file, how big it is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you just like you have everything you want to say. You just need to put it into a structure, which is the hard part.
Yeah, currently it's a 18 page document.
Ooh, beefy.
Oh god,
I like it.
Oh no. I mean, I'm gonna have to vet that and turn it into like something actually cohesive.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it means a lot to me. And to me, like, I definitely want to make that video, but it sucks knowing there will be people who won't get it. And in a way, I think that's too bad. But in another way, I'm like, well, maybe that's for the better, because it's nice to know there are people out there who don't experience this. And like, you know, that's probably for the best. I just hope. I mean, honestly, it should be obvious that if I move one person with the video, mission should be accomplished, right? So
I think it'll be more than just one person. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see when I end up actually actively working on it, but it's something I really want to do just because of how much the experience meant to me. But then again, it also feels like it has to be my magnum opus, so it's hard to start. But like you said, it's better to have a finished product than no product at all.
Yep.
Unless you're a game freak. Okay, let's move on.
For me, my final game that I wanted to talk about that I played this year is also the most special game that I played this year.
Oh shit.
You might have heard about it at some point. I mean, I mentioned it to you already, of course. But that game is called Before Your Eyes.
Oh yeah.
So
I heard about it when it released. I know what it is, but I haven't played it, so I don't know the story. So go ahead.
Yeah. Again, it's a short game, 2 hours tops. It's basically considered like watching a very good movie. You are just going through the life of a person, and you control this game purely by blinking. You can, you have a cursor, you can move around with your mouse, and you then use your webcam to just, focus on your eyes, and it'll register when you blink. And basically, for example, if there's like little prompts like, there's a book in front of you, you move your cursor to like a little icon or whatever, and then you blink, and then it's the same as clicking the mouse basically, and then click, and then you do something. Or maybe, you move your cursor over like the corner of the book, and then you move it, and then you can open the book, and then look what's inside and stuff. But then sometimes in the corner of the screen, a little metronome will appear. And when that appears, you know that when you blink, you're going to move forward in time.
Yeah.
You're going to move on with your life to the next scene. And sometimes it's just like little jumps. Sometimes you jump forward a year or two or more. And throughout this, you just learn about the life of, the person that you're playing as. It is just a special game because the way that you play this by blinking just turns this game into something completely unique, because you can't play this without blinking, without the webcam. You can just use your mouse and just click if you want.
Yeah, you can, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, but I really think you shouldn't, because generally I feel like the controls worked pretty well.
Yeah.
And you can always recalibrate it if it doesn't work well. But as long as you're like, in a well-lit room and stuff, it should work relatively fine. But it just works so well because there will be moments in this game where you'll see the metronome and you're like,
oh fuck, I don't want to blink.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to go, because whenever the metronome appears, there's always going to be more stuff that you can do. Or like maybe a conversation is happening and you want to listen, but then inevitably and oftentimes accidentally, because sometimes you can't control it, you just blink and boop, and just like in the middle of the sentence, like boop, it's gone and you're moving on. And that works so well. There are so many times where I was allowed like cursing because I blinked.
Are you at points forced to blink because of the tears in your eyes?
Yes, very much so. In fact.
Oh no.
Oh, this game and like the themes really speak to me in a sense, like, just the things that I like in games or movies, stories in general, life philosophies, whatever you want to call it. It's like, I don't know, this game is just very special. And the way that you play it makes it special. Because I haven't played anything like it, obviously. But also, like, you really can't experience a story like this in any other way.
Yeah.
Which makes it so unique in my eyes. So I really think...
It's 66% off on Steam until January 5th. Get it, people.
Please buy it. Even, like, especially if it's, like, on sale, just get it. Because consider it a very good and interesting movie or, like, experience. Because you could be like, oh, but is it really that short? I don't want to pay this amount of money. Like, just do it. Because...
Yeah, I just bought it.
Nice. Good. Because it really is, like, an experience that's, like... Yeah, you can't get it anywhere else.
I don't know why it stopped screen sharing.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Okay.
So, yeah, I highly recommend, if you're at all interested, to just check it out and see for yourself. And, I don't know, I'm not saying that, oh, you're gonna cry so hard. I'm not saying that, because, everyone cries at different things, Yeah. But it really touched me, and at some points I felt the stinging in my eyes, and I was like, no, I gotta keep looking, and then other times I'm just listening to like, I'm listening to my mother talking to me, and while I'm lying in bed, and then I just, like, I don't even notice, but I blink, and then I move on. I'm like, wait, what? And every single time it hits you in a different way. It's just, yeah, it's really special. I really highly recommend people check it out. And yeah, that was the last game. And, like, it's also a game that the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, no, it's really special. Like I mean, something like, I think in the beginning I mentioned that Kirby is probably my favorite game of the year. And I still think that's the case, but this is definitely, like, just purely because of how unique it is. This is also definitely, like, up there for me. So yeah, check it out. And that was my last game on my list that I wanted to talk about. I might
need to do that soon then. I need to do so many things.
Well, the good thing is that...
I make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
God damn it. Maybe I should take that January break that I've been talking about.
Yeah.
Just to play random video games and work on the Celeste video.
Yeah, honestly, I really think you could. Plus, I mean, it's still, 4 hours. It's like 2 hours max, so you can just do that real easy.
Well, Lenny, what about Sticker Star? Then that'll be on hold.
Oh no,
people will be so sad. No, but that's definitely also a thing of, like, it's leaving the comfort zone we're in with the videos we produce, or, well, I produce. Honestly, like, that's just a me thing.
Yeah.
To try something new, and that's always scary. Because if you build something and you don't want to, let's call it destroy that. I know that's not what I would do. But it's like, yeah, I mean, you're working on something and then people wouldn't care about it. It's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. I poured my heart into this. No, I don't know. I'm telling you, it's just, I'm very passionate about the idea. But I don't know. Someday. Probably. Hope I will. I need to stop saying probably. I will make that video. Unless I die, which would suck. But at the end of the day, if I die, not my problem anymore. Okay.
All right, so what's your final meme pick?
So now that we've both talked about some emotional games we've played, here is a game that we also both played this year. And I guess it's a little bit of a shameless plug. You might know this game called Pokémon Scarlet and Violet.
I knew it was coming. I fucking knew it.
Hell yeah! I don't know when this video is going to release compared to the final part of the series, and we're also not going to talk about it too much here, because a big old discussion is coming, because I've never been this torn about a video game, and I want to talk about and analyze every single aspect of this game, because I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I want people to know what I hate about it and what I love about it, because guess what? There's so many things I love about it, and that's what hurts, because, like, there's so much crap in this game as well.
Yeah, it's a real mixed bag, this one.
As I've said before, if this game released without the performance issues, I would call it the best Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's my favorite Pokemon game, if only it released a year later.
You could still point at things like, for example, you think not being able to enter buildings is a huge issue.
I hate it.
That is not the case for me. I see why you would be very hung up on that, but to me, it's not a huge deal. I hate it way more during cutscenes that you're having this emotional cutscene. The camera shifts, and suddenly my hair stands up for one frame and then flops back into existence, flops back to its original position. Or a character is in the wrong position for one frame in an interesting cutscene, and they pop back in. Stuff like that. I'm enjoying these cutscenes, and then that just takes away from it. It's just a jolt of like, whoa, oh yeah, video game. And for me, that takes away from the experience. What's good? Story characters, character interactions are fun. I love the three main boys and girls, and I love how that then leads into the end of the game. There's just so many things well done, which makes all the bullshit hurt more. And I just wish Game Freak took more of their time. I think I described it perfectly in our original discussion when we were halfway through the game, where I said, like, it's just they know about these issues, but they're like, no, just we don't have time. Leave them. We don't have time to fix them. Just leave it. And it's such an annoying part of the Pokemon machine. It's an issue we've highlighted for so long, and it's never been this obvious.
Yeah. The good sides of Game Freak and the bad sides of Game Freak are full showcase in this game.
Yeah.
Like, all the things Game Freak is good at, they, like, I feel like they maxed it out in this game.
It's like, they're also good at so many tiny little details. They're like, they didn't have to do that, but they did. But then, like, oh, wow, the mountain flickered out of existence.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no in between.
Yeah, it's like every time you have a moment of wonder and like, oh, wow. Then you move the camera and shadows disappear and then pop in again.
Yep.
So look forward to that video.
Yep. Basically, I have a document also of like all the things I want to talk about. It's pretty long already.
We're gonna go in hard.
Also, one interesting thing, I have like the good. It's like, you know, some stuff in there. And then the bad. And I'm basically have in the bad, there's a list of general random annoyances and bugs. And it astounded me how it could just keep adding to that list. Because standalone, those little issues don't matter. But once they pile up,
yeah,
like,
if you put them in a list, you're like, huh.
Yeah, I mean, I'll mention a couple of them. All right, so ready? Flickering. Things are gone for one frame. Frame rate tanks and lag. Random crashes. The line. Dev, you know what I mean with the line?
I think everyone knows what you mean with the line.
Dev balls. Buggy raids. Elite and champion music was bugged. Bright sandwich. Go back up? Question mark. Follow Pokemon freezes in place. Facial animations get stuck. TM obtaining bug. Item icons don't load correctly immediately in menus. Can't see what you buy in picnic shops. Buying clothing is annoying because it takes 5 seconds to load your model each time. Terra Pokemon noise always plays and sometimes they don't spawn correctly. Lighting on character models often bugs out and is creepy. Terra holes become intangible if you run into them, if you run from a raid. Picnicking on the water voids you out. No turning off animations. No set battle style. Okay, I'll stop there. But like, isn't it amazing that you can just keep like adding time? Like, oh, this and this and this and this and this is this. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Look forward to our full discussion. I really liked the game. I enjoyed my time thoroughly, but there's a lot of crap on top of it.
It just sucks because there's so much good things to talk about. Then it's also, yeah, but then that thing.
Yep.
Yeah, but this thing is also very good. Yeah, but then that thing.
I don't know how long the discussion will be. I hope it's like not longer than 3 hours, but we'll see.
Oh boy.
I guess that was our not really lists of top games of the year, because first of all, most of them weren't from this year. And second of all, they're not all top games of the year. For me, they were pretty much all the games I played this year. Pretty much. Yeah, this was interesting.
Yep.
And now you have our opinions and more games to play if you're interested. In
all the games we mentioned are worth playing, so check them out.
They're all worth playing for different audiences for different reasons.
Yep.
I'm gonna check my list. Actually, let me look. What are the games that I recommend the most? It's so hard because most of them. Legends Arceus, if you would like a fresh take on the Pokemon experience and like exploration. Triangle Strategy, if you like strategy games. Kirby, because Kirby. Katamari Damacy, because it just, you know, short, dumb fun. Bad End Theater because of the story, Celeste because it's the best game of all time, Hat in Time because it's the best platform of all time, Milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk if you like psychologically fucked up narratives, and Florence because the art style was amazing and the way it weaves colors and music and puzzle elements together into a neat little cute story. I think out of all these, I probably recommend Florence the most because it's literally an hour of just a very neat little story.
I mean, Florence is the easiest recommendation. We're just like, yeah, just check it out. You can knock it out in an hour. Just do it.
If you don't like games that kind of don't really have gameplay and just the narrative represented just in an artsy way without words, it's probably not for you.
Well, it's the same with Before Your Eyes. It's like, if you just like experiencing this story in a very unique way that adds to the experience of the story,
yep,
and check them out.
All right. See you next year when we talk about maybe more games. I don't know.
Join us next year where we talk about like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom for like a few hours.
Oh shit, dude! No, that'll have a standalone video.
Oh no, yeah, of course.
So,
okay, then join us where I talk like for 2 hours about Silksong.
We won't make a standalone video on that unless you really want to.
We don't have to. We'll see when we get there. There we go. Hey, in the comments, let us know what some of your favorite games were, especially if it's games that we didn't mention. I want to hear about it.
Lenny, my list is already so long.
And it's gonna get longer, baby.
No, no. God damn it. I really hope at some point I find another game like Celeste that just moves me so incredibly. But the way Celeste did it,
I don't know, man.
I'm kind of thinking like, wait, maybe that just won't happen anymore.
It's such a uniquely perfect, like all of the stars aligned moment.
It's kind of crazy, yeah.
That I think you just cherish that moment because, I mean,
just
you
deep in
never
my
know.
heart, I hope there's another game like that.
You never
someday.
know. I mean, we always hope. Like, I feel like it's the same. Like this isn't game related, but I feel the way you're about Celeste, that's the way I feel about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm also like, I always hope that I find a new film that's gonna be my new favorite film of all time. And I mean, that's the thing. I thought that way about It's Such a Beautiful Day, but then Everything Everywhere All at Once happened and broke me, and I was like, oh, I guess this is now my new favorite one. So I mean, you never know. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
But we'll see. Maybe it'll be their next Earthblade, their next game.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't mention that. They are working on a new game. No, but I think like I guess I can use Undertale as an example. When I played Undertale, which is almost 3 years ago, almost 10 years ago, sorry, right? 2013?
Yeah.
Or is it 2015?
I don't remember, honestly.
Whatever. At that point when I finished it, I was like, oh my god, it will not get better than this. There's no game that will be as good as this, and that disappoints me. But now, I mean, I've already had games that have topped Undertale, and Deltarune is really moving.
Topping Undertale
Topping everything.
In one fell swoop, yes.
Being like, hey, Undertale, just kicks it over. Yeah. I'm excited about video games, and I like playing them, and I like talking about them.
Me too. I really
and
like it too.
Everybody has their own unique experience. Again, if you like something, another person doesn't, or you don't like something, they do. That's all good. If you enjoy something and you get something out of something, that's all you need. Go ahead, Lenny. Finishing thoughts?
Video game, good. Video game next year, also good, I hope.
Tears of the Kingdom will beat Breath of the Wild? Who knows? Maybe. I'm very curious. I'm also pretty excited.
Will Silksong be my game of the year? The odds are likely.
I think Silksong will be too hard for Lenny and he'll get frustrated and confused.
Yes, but then I will beat it because we will all climb that mountain. And it'll be
We'll all
great.
clap for Lenny when he does.
Yes.
Alright, goodbye, friends and video games
Bye.
alike. Are you guys video games? What?
Maybe we're all video games.
Maybe we're all experiencing a video game. That would be crazy.
You heard here first, guys. The universe is all simulation. We're all in a video game right now.
I don't think that's been said here first, but... Okay. Bye, nerds.
Bye-bye.
Eat a dick. I mean, love you.
Come on, be nice.
Okay. Mwah.